Over the last few weeks and the last few months, we have been looking from the biggest to the smallest cryptos in the world to find ones that we believe have a ton of potential for what could be 2024's bull market. And with that in mind, I have one for you today that I'm sure you've heard of, that has been around for years, that I just personally added to my own personal major portfolio because I think that they have that much potential. And so in today's video, we're going to be covering who they are, what they do, why they're special, and why I added them to my portfolio. And we are getting started right now. So in today's video, we are talking about Tezos. Now, again, I'm sure you've heard of them before. They are currently the number 69 biggest crypto in the world with an $872 million market cap. Now, although this is one that has been around for over 3 to 4 years now, they are still generating upwards of $30 million of volume every single day. And so obviously there's a lot going on here. And I think this is a good sign as we do approach 2024. So let's talk a little bit about who they are and what they do so you can get a feel of why I did just again add them to my own portfolio. So looking at Tezos, of course, Tezos is your basic, quote unquote, basic L1. Tezos is an open source platform for assets and applications that can evolve by upgrading itself. Stakeholders govern upgrades to the core protocol, including upgrades to the amendment process itself. Now, this is one of the key reasons why Tezos did get so much popularity, especially back in the 2020-2021 timeframe. You can see here that they have a key aspect and element to their chain, and it's called the self-amendment protocol, in which self-amendment allows Tezos to upgrade itself without having to split, or other words known as fork, the network into two different blockchains. This is important as a suggestion or expectation of a fork can divide the community, alter stakeholder incentives, and disrupt the network effects that are formed over time. Because of self-amendment, coordination and execution costs for protocol upgrades are reduced and future innovations can be seamlessly implemented. Now, this is again something that I do believe to be incredibly useful, and I think most L1s should use this protocol, because when you do have to fork the chain and you have to split it into two, basically killing off one to grow with the other one, people just don't necessarily like it, right? There will be those OGs who are like, no, I don't want to accept this change, and you're going to lose some core members of your community. Whereas when you do this allows it to just be a self-amendment, a self-upgrade that doesn't have to fork, it doesn't have to divide anyone, of course, unless you are against the upgrade. But at the end of the day, it is a much better process, and it was something that was so special for Tezos to come out with at the time that it did put them in a position where they are still around today. Now, they do have some of the other aspects, of course, don't get me wrong: on-chain governance, decentralized innovation, smart contracts, and formal verification. They are, of course, proof of stake based, which is important for the Go Green movement we've been seeing recently. And of course, they do have, since they are POS, delegation. Now, with all of these things in mind, though, again, I do believe the self-amendment protocol is what makes them so special, and it has been what has driven so much volume to their chain in recent years. Now, on top of all of this, they have been upgrading. They have been implementing things that are allowing them to keep up with everyone else and continue to grow. One of the main things that they did implement that I thought was crucial for their growth into the future was Etherlink. Now, Etherlink is a new layer 2 solution smart rollup for Tezos that is designed to be compatible with the Ethereum virtual machine, otherwise known as an EVM. This means that it will be possible to deploy and run Ethereum-based smart contracts on it and use Ethereum programming languages like Solidity, Viper, etc. You will also be able to use Ethereum wallets like MetaMask, tools, and generally build anything that would require the EVM. As a developer, you will just need to point your wallet software to the Etherlink rollup RPC, and you will be able to deploy your smart contracts just like you would on any EVM chain. The only difference, you will be building on a much better, fundamentally strong foundation. And I must say that I do agree, right? Because although their fundamentals and their foundation is incredibly strong, I do believe that being able to be compatible with the EVM or the Ethereum virtual machine is crucial, right? Especially for just like the unification of the space, right? Because it is just such a staple of the space. And so being compatible with it allows their users to grow even more. And I think that was a very, very good move, which again, I would just say that gives a little bit of credit towards their adaptability and their ability to continue even when things do change. Now, with all of this and with such a strong foundation and fundamentals, again, there is a reason why they have been getting so much volume. And that is because, in my opinion, of what we are seeing on chain in terms of development. You can see here that different companies are building on chain. These projects are getting ready to go. And I do think that this is crucial, obviously, to being able to keep Tezos' name in the mix, especially in a bull market. Let's talk about a few of them. So, of course, we have 3Route here, which is a next-generation DEXs aggregator that facilitates cost-efficient and on-chain transactions across various DEXs in the Tezos ecosystem. Altme is a robust decentralized identity solution, or a DID. We have GitBlock, which is a blockchain RPC provider. We, of course, have Tether, which is Tether's asset-backed stablecoin available natively on Tezos, which is huge, obviously. We, of course, have Accurist, which is the universe and Web3, or data delivered and on demand. There's AKA Swap, which is, of course, Asia's first and largest NFT open marketplace. There's Aniverse, Archetype, Artuous, Atomix Wallet, and the list goes on and on and on. Obviously, I'm not going to run you through all of them, but what you can see is that they have a ton of development. And this type of development is what keeps a blockchain having consistent volume. And volume is the life of an L1, right? Now, on top of all of this, what I do believe has also brought them volume is the partnerships that they've gotten, which have kind of forced and pushed people in the direction of Tezos, especially recently. Let's talk about some of them so you can get the scale that we're talking here, because these aren't small partnerships. For example, we have Manchester United. I'm in the United States, right? I'm in the US. We call this soccer. But I even know how big Manchester United is. I've heard their name consistently multiple times, right? And so with that in mind, getting these partnerships in which they are, again, the officially licensed Manchester United digital collection provider says a ton about Tezos and their ability to reach some of these very, very high levels. Going forward, I would say maybe even bigger or just as big is the fact that they are working directly with the McLaren racing team to provide digital collectibles as well. Now, going forward, we can see that Team Vitali has now revealed that Tezos will be their main technical partner and an historic long-term signing, just as an example that they are crossing all of these fields, right? So football or soccer, as some people call it. Of course, we saw that racing, F1, McLaren racing, etc. Now we have esports, and lastly, they are also taking a step into the real world of art, as they have partnered up with Musée d'Orsay, which is a centuries-old hub of art and culture, of course, taking steps to innovate into the future. Their main goal to work with Tezos was to, of course, introduce blockchain-based digital souvenirs for their exhibitions, and those exhibitions are extremely big, right? So you can see they're not just choosing one avenue, they're actually injecting Tezos into multiple avenues, of course, to capture as many eyes as possible, which of course has been contributing majorly to the growth that we have been seeing on chain. Now, with all of this in mind, of course, I am under the belief that they are positioning themselves perfectly to be one of those L1s that catches a ton of momentum if we do see the L1 space blow up, like we inevitably will, at least in my opinion. And so considering the fact that their price is currently sitting at right under $1, with all-time highs having been to upwards of $7 to $8, I think it's almost time, and it's revealing that it's almost time for Tezos to have it shine, right? We've seen this bottoming out structure across most of your top cryptos. Generally speaking, when you see kind of these bottoming out structures in which you're going down, you're in a descending channel, you have descending triangles, you break out towards the upside with all of this bullish divergence to the downside, that's generally a good sign that you're likely to get some type of move back up to key levels of bullish liquidity, which for Tezos easily could be upwards to $1.60 to $2, and I clearly want to be a part of that, right? And so with that in mind, I am going to continue to bring some updates to the channel about Tezos, especially if you're interested in them. So the only question that I have for you is, are you going to add this to your own personal portfolio like I did? And if you already own them, let me know what you think about them down in the comments below. But with that in mind, of course, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video, and well, I will see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.